Good morning, viewers. Mike here. It's kind of chilly on the old Iowa prairie today. It is 43 degrees in here, though. So I've been looking around for my bearing separator, which I can't find. So off to town we went, and we picked up this little gem from Harbor Freight. I don't really use one of these very much, so I think this will be fine for my purposes. Now we'll just saddle her up and take her for a spin. Take the seals out of these so they're non-sealed, just like the old bearings. That way they can accept external grease from the greasers. Come on out of there, little guy. Now I'm using MAP gas to warm up this front bearing, and with the shop being 43 degrees, and if I warm this bearing up just to the point of where the grease is beginning to melt, there should be enough differential to where I should be able to put this on without much persuasion. there's a grease channel in this back bearing retainer that allows the grease to enter the bearing, and that has to line up with the front bearing cap. Now we're at the point where we could hotwire this and test it out, except for one problem. Mr. Bumblebutt whacked the brush with a hammer and broke it, so we got to pick one of those up. Okay viewers, this will be the last video on this motor, and we'll start at the front of the motor and I'll give you a little bit of a wrap up as to where we're at. Starting with this pulley. This is made out of steel, it's in good shape, we'll reuse it. This pulley is also made out of steel, but it is completely worn through and it needs to be replaced. So we have to pick one of those up. It's a standard pulley. Should be no problem there. These grease cups, which went here and here, are going to be replaced with grease zerks, which oddly enough are not an imperial size. These are 7.5 millimeter, and they're on order. They should be here today. This key, because this pulley was so worn, the belt rubbed right through the root of the V and into the key. I'll just go ahead and replace that key. And the other thing is, because I broke this brush, I've got 2 new brushes ordered, and I had to order them oversized. I couldn't get the exact replacement for these. So they're ordered oversized, and I will cut them down to fit in their little holders. And then back here, once the brushes are in, I'll put these 2 hatch covers on, and then it'll be wrapped up. The other thing I have to do before I can really call this motor complete is I have to figure out what the wiring is on this. Now this is a dual voltage molder. It's single phase, and so it's 120 or 240 depending on how these wires are tied together. I did hear this motor run before I bought the machine, and I couldn't tell how well it ran because the transmission was making so much noise. But there's actually four wires on this machine. 2 of the wires are tied together, and they're labeled R20, and the other one is R3, and those are tied together. Then I have 2 wires that were attached to the controls. That's why they're tagged. And one of those is labeled B1, and one of those is labeled G4. If I was going to make a wild guess, I would say that this is wired up right now for 120, because you would wire in 1 ground wire and 1 hot wire. But I certainly am going to do some more research and seek out some more experienced advice than I have, and before we power this thing up. So that pretty well does it for this video, and I sure appreciate you watching. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate any comments you may have, and we'll see you on the next one.